Alright class, now that we've got our two pinch pots together to make our animal body, and we've got some texture to make it more realistic, now it's time to make it look more like an animal. So with the folk art animal, the expressions, they're bigger than life. So here I've got my head. I'm doing a turtle. So here's my turtle head. As you can see, he's got lots of expression in there, just like the folk art animals. So we're just gonna heat them together. It's just the same way we put the pinch pots together. We're gonna slip and score it. So grab your toothbrush and scoring, your head or whatever you're putting on, what body part. So for me, I'm putting my head on, so scoring the head out. And I'm gonna do the same area. I'm gonna put my head right about right here. Yeah, there we go. I'm gonna put my head right there. So we're just gonna slip and score that area to make sure it's nice and rough, so we can place that head on there. It has something to stick to. We're just gonna keep working that area. Now simply grab your head. As you can see, I hollowed out the inside of the head, just peaky thickness. So I just pushed my thumb in there to make sure it was that thickness, just like how we did the pinch pot. And you're just gonna simply stick that head right onto the area that you scored. And boom, we've got our head on there, as you can see. But I'm gonna, you kind of want to push it in there, smooth out that head and the area around it. So you're gonna work your thumb, finger, whatever you got all the way around, just kind of how we put those pinch pots together to begin with. So we're just working that area, smoothing out. And hey, if you lose any of that texture, which you might when you're smoothing, you can just put whatever texture you use, or if you created your own texture, you're just gonna go back and put that texture back on. So we're just gonna keep smoothing this area out. It's a turtle, so I'm not gonna completely lose the turtle shell, so I'm not gonna smooth it perfectly, because I want to create that it's coming out of its shell. So there we go. And I'm gonna get little eyeballs on there, some little beady eyeballs, to give it more expression, just like those folk art animals. So I'm just scoring the eyeball and the area that it's going on to, and we're just gonna push the eyeball on there. There we go. Awesome. And so this will just give it some good expression and make it larger than life, because turtles got beady eyeballs, but I'm gonna give them big old beady eyeballs. So just pushing it on there as best as we can. Don't want to push too hard to mess up your turtle head. And we're going to score the other eyeball and the area that it's going on to. We're just going to push that eye onto that turtle head, right in those little eye sockets that I created. Here we go. Smoothing it out. Awesome. Nice. You get your sponge or rag, whatever you have, and just kind of smooth out the head, any areas that you messed up while pushing it on there. So you see he's got those beady eyeballs looking awesome. So now next, I've got his little turtle tail. So we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna slip and score the end of that tail, and just gonna push it on there. So there we go, looking awesome. He's got his little tail on there. We're gonna smooth out the area. But I'm not going to smooth out too much. Like I said, make it look like it's coming out of its shell. And, we might lose some of that texture. So you can just put that texture back on there. But just making sure that you've got a nice bond between your tail, your leg, whatever's in there. So, yeah, and I did the thickness of my pinky, not too thick. So we're just going to smooth it out all around the tail. Give it a good joint, and I lost some texture, so I'm going to put the texture back on. But remember, don't go too deep and go through your animal body, but deep enough to leave that texture behind. So there we go. Smooth out that tail, and there we go. Got a little turtle tail and a little turtle head. So next, we're just gonna I got some little turtle legs. Now these are little guys. They're not gonna be sticking all the way out, but they're just gonna be kind of hanging out of his turtle shell. Give the turtle some good expression there. So the way I created these was just kind of rolled it and pushing it down. Then with my finger, I'm gonna round it out to create kind of a foot. There we go. Just pushing the edge, giving it a flat edge so it can adhere to the body of the turtle. And then the other end's gonna be rounded to kind of make it look like a foot. So just pushing that out, making it, remember the thickness of your pinky. Just pushing it out. Then you're gonna slip and score it. Alright, so now I'm on my last foot here, just slipping and scoring it, making sure we got some nice texture on that foot so we can push it to the body. And we scored that same area where it's gonna be. So I'm just gonna push that foot on there, smoothing it out, creating a nice bond. Awesome. Sweet. So nice. Awesome. So just keep working it. And there we go. We've got our turtle legs on there. We got our 4 legs and our tail and our head. So now it's time to give it some more detail. So I'm just gonna put some toes in there. Same way I create the texture on the top of the turtle. Just use my clay tool to push lines in to create some toes on those little feet. I'm just gonna work it all the way around to every foot and give it some more detail. Another thing, those little beady eyeballs, I'm going to push some holes into his eyeballs to make his eyes look even more realistic and show some more expression. Give it the folk art animal style to it, so lots of character in this turtle. So I'm just going to push it around with that clay tool and roll it to give it a nice hole in the eyes. And boom. A little scared. Sticking his legs out. We're just going to work all the way around and get all those feet. Alright, awesome. So now we've got all our detail on this turtle. He's looking great. So, there's some areas that when you push texture in, maybe you got the balled up little pieces of clay. So we're just going to push those out as best as we can without taking our texture out. Use your sponge or wet rag just to push it out. But hey, when you push those little balls out, you might lose your texture a little bit. So go ahead and get your clay tool or your texture tools and push that texture in. We're going to smooth out those feet, the head, and all those joints that we worked on. So there we go. We've got our turtle there. So next we're gonna flip it upside down and we're gonna stick a hole into the backside of the turtle. Because right now it's a giant air bubble. If this went in the kiln, it would just explode. So I'm just gonna roll this hole in there, and you want to get all the way through the clay, but nice and easy. You don't want to mess up your body or anything. So there we go. We've got ourselves a hole. And then while you got it upside down, you can just start smoothing out those backside of your feet or your legs, whatever you've got, to make sure they're all nice and smooth. Next, I'm going to have you guys, if you guys haven't done so already, I would like for you guys to do this when you're making your pinch pots, but you just write your name in there. So here we go. A-V-E-R. We got Avery. Boom. So just place your name on there so we know whose is who. But don't push too hard to, tear up your clay body. Just like how you put the texture on there. enough to leave it behind. Awesome. So now we got our folk art animal. It's looking great. Got plenty of texture on there. Lots of expression. So there you go. You can see little expressions there. Yeah. So just get creative and create lots of expression to give it that folk art animal and nice texture to make it even more realistic. So good luck.